you very much, Jan, and thank you to everybody for that wonderful parade. I always knew Anguilla had talent. It seems to extend in a different ways to the police force than that which I thought. And we're very happy to help them with their inquiries. Thank you, guys. First of all, good morning, everybody. I've been dying to say this protocol having been established. It's a great privilege to be here. And so, good morning, happy Anguilla Day to Anguillians at home, abroad, and indeed to those no doubt looking at us from the mansions in the sky. Today we mark the 52nd anniversary of the Day Anguilla under the leadership of Mr. Webster, supported by that band of far-sighted and brave individuals set out to chart its own course through difficult waters. As the saying goes, still waters do not make a good sailor. This occasion provides an opportunity once again to look back and to look forward, and I see no reason to part from convention, so let me start by looking back. The history of 1967 and the immediate years following the revolution are very well chronicled. It needs no elaboration from me, particularly as an Englishman. But that said, I'd like to make 3 points and beg your indulgence while I do. First of all, to encourage our younger generation to read what has been written, and in particular, to listen to the testimony of the now sadly diminishing number of souls for whom the history of 1967, the years leading up to it, and those that followed were real life. And I note with respect the passing in the last 12 months of 4 soldiers of the revolution: Marmion Hodge, Collins Hodge, Vernon Hodge, Judy Fanning. You know, the oral tradition of Anguilla, which it's so rightly proud of, has a richness beyond the written word. And in saying that, I mean no disrespect to the definitive history of Hodge and Petty. So to the younger people, I say, please today particularly, take time out to ask those close to you what life was like in the 1960s and come to understand and appreciate why the events of 52 years ago happened. Second, and at the risk of stating the obvious, and something my wife says I do a great deal, but apparently not when reminding her of her great beauty and grace. The task of building the institutions of modern statehood, which began in 1967, has carried on and indeed carries on today. So let me pay my personal respects to the 5 men who have held the highest office in the land. Mr. Webster and Sir Emile, who are sadly no longer with us, and the 3, and I can attest that they are most definitely still with us, Mr. Hughes, Mr. Fleming, and Premier Banks. Gentlemen, may the good Lord in his infinite wisdom grant you all good health. And without wishing to stray into the political, which sometimes I'm accused of, I just want to note the importance of women in our senior echelons of political life. Now, to all who have held ministerial office or sat in the National Assembly, I won't try to list them all, thank you for your service to the nation. To the men and women, to the 4 men and 1 woman who have held the most challenging parliamentary posts in any democracy, that is Speaker of the House of Assembly, my thanks. And I note with particular sadness the passing in the year of the Honourable Leroy Rogers. To those who have protected Anguilla through their uniformed service through the Royal Anguilla Police Force, the Fire Service, the Magistrates Prison, Customs and Immigration Services, thank you for your service. And I note the passing in the year of Prison Officer Rufus James. And it's good that we don't forget the media. The media is a key institution in any democratic society. Now this year, Radio Anguilla, the nation's station, the station of choice, celebrates its golden anniversary. So thanks to all who were instrumental in creating that station back in the day and have made it work ever since. So congratulations to them, to the present director, Farah Banks, former directors, Reverend Hodge, and of course Ken Hodge. And I'm just going to pause and think a little bit about the living legend that is Nat Hodge. I do ask us all, was there ever a time before Nat? I'm not sure there ever was. Now, I have done some research on this and have it on very good authority, and it's not from Nat himself, that Noah, having safely steered the ark to its resting place, gave his first interview to Nat. So thank you, Nat, for your service to the nation. Finally, in terms of looking back, the Anguilla we see today has not come about solely through the very hard and dedicated work of those that crafted a constitution, introduced laws, created an administration, initiated economic development, and so on. Important and momentous in our development, those tasks may have been. Now, it takes much more than that. And from our limited time here, both Dina and myself, it is a genuine great joy to see and learn about this. I've come to understand and appreciate the contribution of the unsung heroes, our teachers, our nurses, our community leaders, our homemakers, more often than not women, and indeed our pastors, no disrespect, more often than not men, who have in many ways laid the foundations and quite often the bricks to build a nation which is proud, strong and free. So today, while we rightly pause and recall the known figures of history, let's also take time to pause and celebrate the ordinary contributions of so many people that crafted so much from so little. And it's a good time to remember our 6 centenarians. This is Ursula Connor, this is Irene Lake, this is Denise Niles, Mrs. Althea Richardson, Mrs. Colmeta Hughes, and Mrs. William Hodge. And indeed, for us to reflect on the contribution that all our senior folk have made to this nation. For those that stayed and made a living from what was available, and to those who left these shores, quite often to make a better life for those at home. Their contribution is just as important as those that stayed. Now let me turn to look ahead and to wrap things up. By any objective assessment, and objectivity is a term we should never lose sight of, Anguilla has made great strides in the last 12 months, or in the 20 or so months since the passage of Hurricane Irma. Anguilla is firmly on a positive trajectory, and it's only naysayers that would seek to object to that. But we still have a great deal of work to do, and sincerity requires me to say that the job of reconstruction of our infrastructure, of our economy and our public finances is not yet complete. That said, I have great confidence in those leading that effort here, and in the partnership with the United Kingdom, to know that we will achieve what was planned, and much, much more.
Thank you.
So in the next 12 months, here's a few things I expect to see when we all come back here next year. First, and perhaps most importantly of all, I expect to see our athletes and sportsmen continue to excel on the world stage. So Nell's got a big year ahead of him. Good luck to him, good luck to Sharon, and good luck to Jamal and his cricketing expertise. I also anticipate further revisions to the Constitution to be agreed with the United Kingdom. Now, while contrary to common public opinion, I stay well outside of those discussions, I can say with great confidence and honesty that both sides of that constitutional partnership, and it is a partnership, recognise the need to update a relationship which has essentially remained unchanged since the 1980s. I also expect the tempo of political discourse to increase, or should I say to increase even more, as elections draw near. Now, I can tell you that preparations for the 2020 elections are well in hand, and I'm confident that the team at the Electoral Office, led by Miss Ardell Wilson, will organise an efficient, fair and free election, including important developments such as Ireland Wide voting. And I'm also confident that they will be assisted in doing this by the integrity, good grace and commitment to democracy of all of those seeking public office, their supporters and the people of this island. Now, I'm going to take my lead from the Reverend Wychley Gumbs. I do on many things, and he used the words of a popular song to illustrate his particular point during Sunday's ecumenical service. And in looking forward to the way that the elections will be conducted in 2020, I have no doubt, to borrow the lyrics of Johnny Mercer, I think the Premier, you probably bought the record when it came out some years ago, that in showing the world how to do things, and Williams, and please sing along with me if you feel the need, will continue to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative.
Thank you.
Because that is the way that people in this island do things. So in finishing, let me do a couple of things. First of all, to thank all who have made today's event happen. It takes an awful lot of work. It's no mean feat of organisation and preparation by many people. So thank you to everybody for the dedication which has gone in, the quality of today's performance, and all of the work that reflects in the year through our membership societies, which make an important contribution to life here. Let me seek the good Lord's invocation for a bountiful and peaceful year ahead. A little more rain, Lord, would be helpful. I don't think any of us will complain about having our parade rained on today, but just half an hour, the clouds are gathering. To sincerely and personally thank everybody for the support you've given me and Dina in our time here. It's truly, it's very important to us, it helps us. And to once again, thank you, I need it, to once again wish everyone a happy and blessed Anguilla Day. God bless you all, and God bless everyone.
We invite Ms. Palmavon Webster at this time, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, to come and give her remarks. Please welcome her.
I associate with the protocols set out, and it's safe to welcome all our national heroes and heroines and all those uniformed persons, you know, in the sun, especially our children. Blessed morning to all of you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
As the sun rose this morning above the very beautiful coastline of Island Harbor, and as the sweet, sweet breeze from the turquoise waters touched me, my heart felt so full. It felt so full when I listened to that prayer raised up at this place this morning. My heart today is so Anguilla. This is indeed a great treasure that is ours, a land blessed with such beauty and serenity, a land which we must cherish and protect. I was even more grateful to see the very bright smiles and to hear the laughter of our children as they readied themselves to parade in front of us. Give them a round of applause. See, as we gather on this important occasion, and has been said before, it is a reminder to all of us that the work we do, the advances that we make, the examples that we set, and the legacies that we leave behind is for them. They are the promise. Our children are indeed the hope of this nation.
That's right.
And yes, as has been said before, we remember the Anguilla Revolution. We remember the father of the nation, Webster. We remember that the many sacrifices made by the revolutionaries who paved the way for an Anguilla that is free, an Anguilla that is self-governed, an Anguilla that is poised for better days. We also remember our heroes and heroines of blessed memory. And lest we forget their names, I want to call out the names of those of our heroes who made that demand for our separation and for a better life. We remember Ronald Webster. We remember Rutland Harrigan. We remember Wallace Ray. We remember Alfred Webster. We remember Winston Harrigan. We remember Walter Hodge. We remember Collins Hodge. All of blessed memory. And we remember the one survivor of that national band Rogers, John Rogers. Let us applaud him. Let us recognize him in this ceremony, that he's still with us, and let thank God for him and for all that they did for us. And in addition to Ronald, Webster, and Ackland Harrigan, we remember other heroes, those band that suffered so much, that risked their children's future so much. We remember Tocqueville Harrigan, Mitchell Harrigan, Cornell Harrigan, Lemuel Phillip, Henderson Smith, Wilkins Smith, Oliver Gums, Albert Gums, and Valentine Bobby Ruwan. While they are with us, let's recognize them and honor them. Don't let us wait till they've passed. And let our children hear their names and know their stories. We owe them so much.
Thank you.
We must also remember our women. And as the late, great Idalia Gums said, she appreciated it. Whatever we achieved because of our women. When the island was invaded, the men did not face the guns. The women and children did. And we must not forget the significance, the sacred significance of these grounds we stand on and what they represented as a symbol of the revolution. You might look around it, and yes, the ravages of Hurricane Irma are still with us, but this is perhaps the place where the power of the people was cemented. Webster's Park. We must recognize and honor that. We also have to chart a course for prosperity for our people. We must lay aside every weight that so easily besets us. We must put aside hatred, malice, envy, and jealousy in the true Anguillian spirit. And Dr. Wishley Gums would say, these are the marks of the Christian. I listened to him as well. We have
these celebrations marking the 25th anniversary of our revolution are once more being conducted in an atmosphere of gratitude for what has been a year of miraculous recovery. Give God thanks. Recovery that has delivered the tourism plant with more available rooms than before the infamous Hurricane Irma devastated this homeland. Last year we were grateful for spared lives. This year we are overwhelmed by the evidence of God's grace in bringing us back safely and even more vibrant than ever before.
Thank you. God bless you.
A 52nd anniversary is not normally considered a milestone year, but it provides the same opportunity for reflection and appreciation of our history and of our heritage. In this vein, I consider the theme for this year's celebration very appropriate. And I quote, 50 years of courage and fortitude, steadily forward we march with gratitude, unquote. Indeed, we have come a long way because of the resolve of our forebears to stay the course. But to achieve our goals, we must continue to move forward ever mindful of the blessings that have brought us thus far. Two of the events that I've had the opportunity to attend this week did justice to this national celebration. It began with an inspiring service of Thanksgiving on Sunday at St. Gerard's Roman Catholic Church,
Praise the Lord.
followed by a most entertaining choir fest at the Mount Fortune Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Bless the Lord.
As usual, the Anguilla Jubilee Choir wowed us all. This year they added a spiritual dance group, talented group of young women, adorned in an array of national colors, performing for the glory of God. And the choral groups at Mount Fortune sang a variety of melodious and dramatic renditions that captured the very essence of our heritage, as well as expressions of gratitude for the blessings we continue to receive as a people. I could comment on the awesome message at the service of Thanksgiving delivered by Reverend Dr. Richard Gums, but I will resist doing so and rather lift a few verses from his very motivational poem at the back of the order of service, the service leaflet, entitled, subtitled, Wisdom, Wiser and Stronger. And I quote what he wrote in that verse. Then he rose, clenched his fists and spoke. Anguillians at 52, the best years are ahead of you, uncle. I've selected this quotation because it speaks of hope in the midst of a recitation of woes, negativity, anger, and despair. And because in my usual inspirational chat around this time with my friend, the last surviving leader of the early struggle, the Honorable John Bob Rogers, where he again spoke about young people. He spoke of the youth being the hope of our island
Oh, yes,
and the manifestation of their vision for which he and his colleagues fought coming out through them. I've therefore decided to keep the young people in our island and in the diaspora in focus in these remarks.
Oh, yes.
Because a number of them are standing in the elements today at this celebration, the sun and the weather, I also intend to keep it very short. My friend Bob said, and I quote, Victor, Ronald, Atlin, and myself were not educated, but we fought to get an opportunity for the young people in our island to become educated and run our country.
Thank you. God bless.
I continue to be disappointed, he continues, that our young people are not aspiring to hold important technical positions within our government and administration. Born here is not good enough. When you are educated, you have a case. I am not speaking about being educated for Anguilla, but being educated for the world, unquote. The messages to our young people, and even to all of us, contained in these exhortations are that the best years are ahead of us and that being born here is not good enough. In other words, there is hope, but we must qualify ourselves. A sense of entitlement because of one's birthright will not lead to true success and empowerment. Young people must be willing to work hard and train hard to achieve the purpose of the Anguilla Revolution that we celebrate today. A purpose-driven life that Reverend Gums spoke about at the service of Thanksgiving. I will not use this Anguilla Day address as a platform to launch my government's political campaign or boast on our many achievements over the past 4 years. But I will celebrate a few changes that have been achieved under our watch this year that acknowledges the pride of our people as well as our diaspora. Firstly, we have amended our constitution to refer to our people as Anguillians rather than the generic term Balagas. And secondly, we have extended the privilege of our Anguillian status to grandchildren born outside of Anguilla in recognition of the fact that our people have had to travel overseas to maintain their families at home and to seek safe delivery of their children.
Thank you.
We believe that these dignifying changes and amendments would have made our forefathers proud. And so we too are proud to have them in place as another historic stride on this Anguilla Day. The truth is, something that I repeat every year, that Anguilla Day should always be a day to preach love, not hate and retribution.
Thank you.
Not about division, but about unity. Not to celebrate with arrogance, but to reflect with humility. Not a day to accentuate our shortcomings with despair, but rather our successes with hope.
Wonderful one.
A day to look forward, and not a time to be trapped in a time war of the past. It is a day to pray and hope for leaders ready to be bold and courageous, yet always remembering to be compassionate and caring.
Oh, yes.
Let me take this opportunity to commend all the Anguilla Day honorees, past and present, for their sterling contribution to our island in so many different ways. We salute the heroes and heroines of the revolution, past and present, and they have been listed in several of the presentations before. We salute them this day. Let me also pay homage to all past leaders, especially chief ministers, the late father of the nation, the Honorable James Ronald Webster, the late Sir Emil Gums, the Honorable Hubert Benjamin Hughes, and the Honorable Osborne Fleming for their services, their service to the people of this locality. And finally, let me take this time, paraphrasing Reverend Gums's poem, let me take this time to tell our children of our ancestors' overcoming, to tell them of the solid foundations they laid for us to build on, to remind them that stony paths can become stepping stones, that desert times will blossom and flowers will bloom, and that Anguillians, wiser and stronger, will build a nation strong, proud, and free. Indeed, despite anything the naysayers, the detractors, or the prophets of gloom and doom may say, that is our destiny.
Oh, yes.
Have a happy, safe, and blessed Anguilla Day.
Yes.
May God bless all of you, and may God bless